Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at your fire weather danger over parts of California and the Southwest where we already have multiple fires going on. They have turned off power in those areas in California due to the fire weather danger. They don't want it would be easier for it to spread if the power is actually on. Then also we have the next big storm system that could be rolling through the northern tier of the United States into the Northeast. Then we're going to be looking at your National Hurricane Center, recapping the hurricanes out in the Atlantic and Pacific, and then finally we'll be talking about Blizzard Aubrey, just briefly recapping how much snowfall could fall, then the upcoming accumulations, and we'll just look at a couple of models and what the National Weather Service is saying. So we start off at the National Weather Service. We'll go from west to east. Some freeze watches in those lighter or those medium shade of blues, and that's anywhere from Oregon to Northern California. Freeze warnings in effect in those dark blues, and that's in for parts of Northern California, and then one county in Southern California, especially the higher elevations, and then fire weather, red flag warning. I mean, for that fire weather that we are going to be talking about shortly. Now, as we go into Winter Storm Aubrey, all this over here is all related to Winter Storm Aubrey, and in those reds or oranges, you have blizzard warnings. That's where you could have decreased visibility for over 3 hours, less than a quarter mile of visibility, and some heavy snow falling. Then winter storm warnings in those pinks just to the west of the blizzard warnings. And then surrounding the blizzard warnings and the winter storm warnings, you have winter weather advisories. Then this big swath of dark blue, anywhere from Texas to Wisconsin, you're going to be seeing freeze warnings, and that's where your temperatures could get into the low 30s into the mid 20s today. Depends on where you are. Now, you have freeze watches in effect anywhere from the Ohio Valley getting into upstate New York and even eastern Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania, and then another swath there for parts of southern Illinois, Indiana, parts of Kentucky, Missouri, and Arkansas. Then we do have coastal flood advisories anywhere from coastal New Jersey into the Delmarva and then into right around Virginia Beach. And then also we have another coastal flood advisory in for parts of northern Florida near Jacksonville, and then beach hazards statements over parts of southern Florida. Now we're gonna look at your fire weather from the Storm Prediction Center. You see in those oranges, I couldn't get a zoomed in view of California. If I could, it definitely would have put that up here. But we have an elevated risk in that orange over southwestern California, and then a critical risk over right inside of that elevated risk. Now we're gonna look at what the NICC is predicting over the next 3 months as far as fire danger or fire danger. So you see, for this month, October, you have elevated risks over California and then also the southeast, and then even stretching into the mid-Atlantic. Now, for November, actually, one more thing, that green area, that is a below normal wildfire potential. Now, as we move into November, you're going to be seeing pretty much the same areas except for Northern California, not in the above normal fire danger, but the southeast is definitely in that above normal fire danger. And then December, you're going to be looking at it in the southeast still, but kind of toned down now into just eastern Louisiana up through Virginia, not really into Pennsylvania or New Jersey anymore. And now that fire danger in California has decreased a little bit, now only in southwest California will you be seeing above normal. Now we're going to look at your European model, and this is your relative humidity, and basically this is showing how dry the atmosphere is. We're going to really want to focus on the southwest. We're going to go out about 48 hours just to show you that it's going to be persistently dry over these areas. So as we keep on moving on into today, later tonight, we're still seeing those relative humidities almost near zero. Some areas getting actually below zero humidities. That's very rare to be seeing below zero humidities. And yeah, your humidity is right around 4 or 5% over Southern California. Now we're gonna look at your wind gusts, and you see right around 20 mile per hour wind gusts in knots, by the way. So this would be around 30 miles per hour And you see how right along the coast of Southwest California, really the entire coast of California, right around the 20, 30 mile per hour wind gust tapers off as we get into the morning on Sunday, but then it's right back there by Sunday night where your gusts could be 30, 40 mile per hour. We've actually been seeing gusts over these areas, some reports of around 60, 70 mile per hours. Now, we're going to look at your next big storm. We'll start off here with the European model, and then we're also going to be looking at the GFS model. So right now, what we're going to look at is there's going to be two systems. You're going to have a system kind of like an Alberta Clipper come down, and we'll have to see if this system in the southeast will merge with this. Because if it does merge, you could definitely have some inland snowfall over these areas, but then you could also be seeing some very torrential rainfall over parts of near the coast. And so it doesn't look like these are going to merge right now, but if they do, definitely a big storm system. They look to kind of compete with each other, and your low pressure will kind of be situated right here, and the other low pressure, the Alberta Clipper, would have been situated right here, and they're kind of competing, and they're trying to gain each other's energy, and so it's not going to be as powerful. You're going to kind of have two systems all at once, and they're going to be impacting the same exact areas. So as we move on, this started 48 hours out, by the way, so this would be Monday morning, and we're going through 12-hour increments. So Monday morning, you're seeing that system up near Alberta, Canada. That's why it's called an Alberta Clipper, right over here, and that's going to dip down, and then you're starting to get a bit more organized down in the southeast. And as we continue to move, you see that southeast system really getting going right here. Heavy rainfall over parts of the southeast, including Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, even parts of the panhandle of Florida getting in on some of this. It starts to go up the coast, and here's your Alberta Clipper system. It's not cold enough to actually get the snowfall, but it is kind of the same track as you would get a winter Alberta Clipper. Just it's rainfall this time. Usually it's an all snow event. It's not cold enough yet. It's still October, and it's not cold enough yet to have that. But you see these two systems not too far away, so you're going to have a very intense pressure gradient right around these areas, where you'll be getting very intense wind speeds in through the Ohio Valley. And as we keep on going, you see how they kind of merge together, but not too much. You see that system is still near Quebec and Ontario, and then this other system is down near the Delmarva, so there's still two separate systems. Either way, it still means that you're going to have some very heavy rainfall all throughout the I-95 corridor, and this would be through Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday. This system would impact the Northeast, and then it kind of gets moving into Nova Scotia and some of the Maritimes. And now here's your rainfall outlook over that same time period from the European model, and you're seeing a good swath of about over an inch. Over an inch would be in those yellows. Over 2 inches would be in those reds, and then if you're in a brownish sort of white, a brownish gray, you're above 5 inches, and if you get into a purple, that's above 7.5 inches. So definitely over the southeast, you could be seeing a lot of rainfall, as it kind of has a lot of moisture to work from, so it's going to dump a lot of rainfall, and then you can see its track and moves out to sea. And then here's the other system bringing lots of rainfall over to Quebec and Montreal, Quebec and Ontario, Canada. Now your GFS model, let's see what this is saying. 48 hours out, you see just some unorganized showers over the southeast. You see that Alberta Clipper type of system over parts of the northern plains, and then here's your system from the southeast that could potentially merge together. You have a high pressure building in, the high pressure moves aside, and you're seeing those two not really combining. The southeast system is going to be the weaker of the two according to the GFS model, and it looks to just be some unorganized showers, but it's definitely enhancing that Alberta Clipper type system, that low pressure up in Canada, that will definitely bring some heavy rainfalls. And then it kind of swirls back around by Thursday, still impacting even into the Hudson Valley and upstate New York, still impacted those areas, but then it moves out into eastern Canada. Now here's what the GFS model is looking at in terms of rainfall. If you're in a blue, you're about half an inch to 2 inches. In a purple, you're about 2 to 6 inches. So find your area. Over the northern track of the system looks to dump about half an inch to some areas, seeing around 2 inches in northern Maine and parts of near on Toronto. And then also for the southeast, you're seeing about half an inch. That southeast system does look to be a bit more powerful as it goes through the southeast, but then really weakens as this low pressure up here looks to actually take all its energy pretty much, and that's why that system looks to weaken as it gets closer to the northeast. Now we're going to be looking at your tropical activity over the Atlantic Basin and then also the Pacific Ocean, and we have Melissa up near Long Island and off the coast of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. Then you have these two areas of tropical activity that we will have to watch over the next 5 days. Less than 40% chance for each. I believe this one was a 20% and this one was a 10%. I could be wrong on that, but I believe when I checked earlier this morning, that was those were the numbers. Now we're gonna look at your over parts of the Eastern Pacific, and you see we have actually greater risks. So this system in the red, that's over a 60% chance of development. That was actually a 100% chance of development over the next 5 days when I checked, and that looks to impact parts of western Baja California as it makes a northern track. And then also in this yellow region you have a less than 40% chance. Doesn't look to impact any areas of maybe potentially parts of western Mexico. And then also this 40 to 60% area, that could definitely be something that we have to watch over off the coast of Mexico. Now over near Hawaii, the part west of Hawaii, we have over a 60% chance of development, but it's not going to really impact anywhere. It might actually turn into a typhoon. We'll have to look at that later as we get closer to that. Now we're going to look at the key messages for Tropical Storm Melissa or Subtropical Storm Melissa. Number one says Melissa is expected to slowly weaken and move away from the U.S. East Coast today, resulting in a gradual decrease in wind and coastal flooding impacts. Two minor to moderate coastal flooding is still expected along portions of the U.S. mid-Atlantic and southeastern New England coast around times of high tide today. For more information, see products issued by local National Weather Service forecasts offices at weather.gov. Definitely a website that you should be checking regularly, especially if you are in the way of a storm. Now here's your little cone of uncertainty here, and we have tropical storm force wind speeds in that yellow, and that goes all the way to into Cape Cod, and it's gonna stay as a subtropical storm until it reaches about Sunday early morning. Then it does look to turn into a depression and move off to sea where it shouldn't impact anyone really. Now here's what the models are looking like. Pretty much the same thing. Some do have it curving south, but it wouldn't really impact anywhere. Anyway, it would be very weak by that point. And then here's the wind speeds and category rankings. So right now it's about a subtropical storm, and then it looks to decrease into just tropical disturbance. Now we're gonna look at blizzard Aubrey, and here's the National Weather Service's forecast. This is for today, or about this afternoon. Looks to have some heavy snowfall over parts of North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota. In those purples, that's a mix, and then in those greens, that's rain. And then if you do see orange, which you will see actually later on, that will be ice. So like I was saying, you will see those oranges. That's some ice, some warmer air trying to intrude, and that's going to be leading to some ice issues, but still some snowfall over northern Wisconsin. Actually, most of Minnesota getting in on this now, South Dakota and North Dakota, and on some snowfall and some mixed in ice. Now, ice looking to be predominant through South Dakota, North Dakota, and Minnesota, and then it moves out mainly as a snow and wintry mix event into Canada. Now, here's what the National Weather Service office in Grand Forks, North Dakota, is saying. So if you actually click on that area of North Dakota, it'll send you to this link, and it'll show you a couple of maps that they made. So I'm just showcasing one of the maps that they made, and this is the total snowfall. So not what's to come, but what is going to be the total snowfall. Like I said, Thursday, October 10th to Saturday, October 12th, which would be today. And some areas from the National Weather Service, 30 inches near Langdon, which is in northern North Dakota. Devil's Lake seeing 24 to 30 inches. So some pretty crazy totals. Tapers off as you get east to Minnesota, and even parts of South Dakota reaching close to the Kansas border, or not the Kansas border, the Nebraska border. And you're seeing anywhere 18 to 24 inches of widespread. Most areas seeing above a foot or above 6 inches. Now here's what your GFS is saying. So this is the simulated radar. So it's a bit higher resolution from the GFS. Still goes out the same time period. So we're gonna look at it. So tonight, some showers, and as it kind of tapers off, and it has the GFS has it tapering off more than the National Weather Service has it, and it's really just going to taper off. Just some lingering showers, but some moderate to heavy bands still impacting parts of Wisconsin and Minnesota. But you see, all that's left now is some mixed rain and snowfall, just some showers, some moderate bands in on the backside. Really, more snowfall coming in through northern Wisconsin and northeast Minnesota by Sunday night, and then it kind of tapers off again, and then just some showers. Now here's what the GFS is looking like as far as snow totals, and this isn't the total event. This is actually what's to come. So you're seeing about a widespread 1 to 3 inches over parts of Minnesota into South and North Dakota. Really, the highest totals in Minnesota, potentially 4 or 5 inches, especially in this pocket of purple right here. South Dakota, some areas could see around 6 inches to come. North Dakota, definitely some areas in northern North Dakota could see another 6 inches from this event over the next 48 or so hours. Now, if you did enjoy that video, please consider subscribing, turning on notifications, and leaving a like on the video. That greatly helps the channel. And thanks for watching this video, guys. It was Eli the Weather Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.